All right, we're ready. Ready when you are.
Okay. All right, got our mics here. Good evening and welcome to the North Bend City Council regular session agenda for Tuesday, July 12th, 2022 here in the council chambers. Please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. Good evening. I'd like to say welcome to everybody who is here in the council chambers tonight and who are also watching online. We are happy to have you and welcome and participating in local government. All right, we're going to go ahead and start moving through the agenda. First order of business after the Pledge of Allegiance is our consent calendar. We worked through this last night in full detail in the work session, which is also always available online and able to listen to. Is there a motion for the consent calendar?
Make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Okay.
Second.
I hear a first from Councilor Richardson and a second from Councilor Gall. Is there any discussion? All in favor accepting the present calendar, all in favor accepting the consent calendar as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item of business on the agenda tonight is public comment, number 3. And I believe Kaylee, our city recorder, so there's nobody online, correct? Okay. All right. Well, again, welcome to everybody who is here. I'd like to take a moment and say thank you for participating in public comment this evening. Public comment period is an essential part of local government meetings. Each person has 3 minutes to speak and will be timed by our city recorder. Our governing body takes input into consideration. However, in observance of Oregon open meeting laws, this isn't a time for dialogue, but rather a time for us to listen to you. Our city administrator and city recorder are taking notes of action if needed. And I've got several in front of me. I know we have our city attorney online. Mark Wolf, you're here with us, correct? Yeah.
Yes, hello, Mayor.
Yeah. I just want to refer to you. I do have one person signed up for public comment that's under a Samuel Adams that I don't believe is a resident or person of North Bend or a real person.
Okay.
Wanted to refer to you on that one before we get started.
Yeah, so I'm looking through your council rules here. On public comment, rule .2.04.070 subsection 3D. Each person desiring to give public comment shall provide the council with their name and address prior to giving comment. So that's interesting that you've got a Samuel Adams. I guess if they've given their name and address, they're within the rules.
Well, I don't have a physical address.
And is this a written public comment for you to?
No, it just, is there a Samuel Adams here in the, we have somebody who's identifying as Samuel Adams. It was just a piece of paper that was handed to me. And I just didn't know how to proceed if it's not a registered, if I know that our council rules state that they need to be a real person, not a fake name. But not identifying as they say they're a real person, but not identifying as their name. So I just wanted to make sure we knew how to proceed.
You know, I would suggest if this person wants to stand up and give their name and address that they would be entitled to the 3 minutes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So we'll go ahead and then call Samuel Adams to the stand. And then you said just ask them to provide their real name and address.
That would be my recommendation.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So we'll go ahead and begin. There is a microphone right over here and a chair if you want to come forward. And our city recorder will go ahead and begin the timer when you start speaking. Yeah, that's great.
My name is Samuel Adams. Thank you for the recommendation, Counselor, but I'm not required by the rules to give you my address. But this guy over here, David Milliron, I think is a pretty good investigator, and he's gonna, in the future, figure out my name and address and approach it at a further meeting. I'm not the same Samuel Adams that was in the World newspaper. That's actually what I'm here about, though. This guy over to my right, and for the people online, you can't see, it's the city manager, David Milliron, who lives at 2370 North 19th Street in Coos Bay, not North Bend. He found the need to spend his time and money that the taxpayers gave him to investigate a private newspaper's publication of an anonymous person addressing the city's problems. I'm obviously being very sarcastic and kind of being an ass, but it's concerning. Like, why would you spend your time doing that? What the fuck's wrong with you?
We're not going to allow that kind of language here in the chambers.
I'm sorry. But seriously, like, you've been given this opportunity to do good for the city, and you spent your time stalking and finding a public citizen, a citizen in the community, and like, you had to announce his name at yesterday's meeting. Why did you need to do that? You have other things you can do with your time, and I'm asking you guys to like address that, please. You don't have to do it now. Do it privately. It's inappropriate, more inappropriate than I'm being right now. So please spend your time wisely or get the fuck out of Oregon.
Okay, I'm
Go
not
back
going to
Georgia,
allow that kind of language in the council chambers.
where you were a cop
Thank
in
you.
Georgia.
And we also are going to continue tonight's public comment with professional decorum. We're not going to allow that kind of behavior. And we're also not going to allow attacking any of our employee staff. So thank you for speaking, and I appreciate that. And I really do want to hear from everybody. I just need to have professional decorum in the chamber at all times. Okay, so if people can abide by those rules, we'll go ahead and continue the next person, which is Ken. And I believe the last name is Folker. It's Ken. Hi, Ken. All right. Welcome.
Good evening, everybody. I just wanted to give thanks to our fire department, our local doctors, our hospitals, all of you and your staff for the great job that you do for the city and the state. So that's all I have. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you. We appreciate you being here. Thank you. Okay, next up, I have Larry, and I apologize, but I cannot read the last name. Ramsdell. Hi, Larry. Welcome. We have, I don't know if maybe somebody in the front could move that chair out of the way. And then actually, and if you could move the mic just a little bit closer. I think it's already on. It helps us so that not only the people in the chambers, but the people online can hear as well in the mic.
My name is Larry A. Ramsdell, and I live on Hamilton here in North Bend. We've had a problem on North Bend. The homeless people with their campers, their dogs, their children, and their garbage. They're throwing their garbage all over the place over there where we're at. They have dogs that bark all night long. We've called in the police department, I don't know how many times. I did last night. I was up until 3:30, 3:45 this morning with, they were banging on stuff and hollering, yelling, and dogs barking, and it's just continuous. And I've tried to go and talk to them and ask them if they could please stop it. They told me where I could put it and how far. And then when I call the police department, they come out there and they quiet down for about 5 minutes until they're gone. And then they make a comment regarding how stupid the North Bend Police Department is, which I disagree 100%, because I know you guys are tied between laws and the way everything is wrote. And I just want to know, why can't we get the laws changed just a little bit to where this stuff can't happen? I mean, the sewage problem is really bad. I mean, that just, you know, it's really bad. And when the wind changes and it goes into our apartments, I have other witnesses here that can verify the same thing, that this is a ongoing thing. It doesn't stop. And last year, I was in here forever trying to get some signs put up along that road. No camping, that's all, just no camping. I even agreed to them, if they wanted to, I would help pay for the signs so they would get put up there, so we won't have to put up with this. Because there's a lot of places they can camp and park without being right next to a bunch of apartments where old people live, and they can do their thing. That's the only thing I have to say.
Okay. Thank you. All right, the next person I have is Rob Taylor. Good evening and welcome.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
Bill, good to see you again. Tim, how you doing? It's been a while. Very good. It's like seeing old friends every time I come here, except for the mayor. Never met you,
Nice to
Madam
meet you.
Mayor. The reason I'm from Bandon, and you might wonder why I'm here, but I'm here because of the actions of the manager. And I had a friend send me a clip from yesterday's meeting at the work session where the manager did this incredible thing, something I haven't seen in a long while. He took the First Amendment and he used it as a shield, a sword, and a crutch all at the same time. And let me explain to you how he did this. And he did it for a specific reason. He used it as a sword because he exposed somebody who wanted to remain anonymous. And the person that he contacted, who was considered Samuel Adams, that's the synonym that he went under, he was kind of surprised, taken back that the manager actually hunted him down. And it's not something that's unusual for the manager, because before he came here, he actually impersonated or allegedly
So we're
impersonated
not
an
going to talk,
officer.
we're not going to
Well, I
disparage
have a right
any
to say
people.
what I can say, ma'am.
We
I
have
a
council
right to
rules, and I'm
review
not
them.
going to let you talk about employees. It is part of our council rules to not disparage employees.
Then how can you
So-
review them?
and-
You really then don't want to hear it.
So
Your
if you
employees are
want to
behaving
continue with the
badly.
public comment, I will let you, but if
Well,
you don't, then I'm
okay,
going to
so
ask you to
let's
leave the
say-
room.
It's just not proper
So
that
if
that
you want-
happens. I
please
have a right to
please
freedom of
continue with
speech,
your
and-
public
and
comment.
your leadership here has exposed someone by doxing them using the First Amendment. They used the First Amendment by hunting this person down using legal means and then bragged about that legal means. And then this person used it as a shield because he said that he used public information to get that information. But yet, to me, it's just a waste of time when he could be dealing with this gentleman's problem with the homelessness. And then he used it as a crutch, because he used it at all, but because he was using it as a way to go after someone and defend himself. The sword, the shield, the crutch. And it's improper. I know this, I'm in media, and I've had people come on anonymously, and I'm very disappointed in the World newspaper if they gave him this person's information, but people have a right to criticize you. I know you don't get paid. I know this isn't a glorious job, but guess what? That's tough. You signed the paperwork. You filled out that SEL form. You ran for office. You won the election. And guess what? Now you got to do the job. And if you're not doing the job properly, stop going after your public citizens who criticize you for not doing the damn job. I had to sit there and listen to Benetti say the same thing, talk about and whine about he doesn't get paid and he's doing everything he can. Well, guess what? Maybe that's not enough. Maybe it's time for you to leave and see new fresh faces here. I don't know, but it's something that you should consider. And this man right here should resign.
We're not going to have that.
He
So
should
I'm
resign.
going to, time's up. Thank you.
Hey, Gary, how you doing? Doing well.
Okay. All right. Thank you for participating in public comment. We're going to go ahead and move on to Matt Wilbanks. Hi, Matt. Welcome.
Evening, Mayor, City Council. Matt Wilbanks. I'm currently homeless, but I'm a longtime resident of both Coos Bay and North Bend. So the first thing I wanted to say tonight was actually to give you guys some kudos. If anybody knows who I am, I kind of tear you guys up and down sometimes. So I have to give credit where credit is due. I didn't know about the ordinance that you guys had changed recently on, I think, the tow and parking policy and stuff like that. I recently read that. I posted it. That's a definite step in the right direction. So I appreciate you guys doing that. Okay. It's been a long time coming. Coos Bay, passed their camping ordinance, I think, last year. I would still really like to see an actual camping ordinance. Maybe it's something you guys are going to consider. So definitely kudos there. The second thing I need to talk about is basically to reiterate everything that Rob and the gentleman who referred to himself as Samuel Adams said about Mr. Mill Iron over here. I also run a website, dailyresistor.com. I've written several articles on the past. We won't bring it up because you've already mentioned that. Okay. My personal opinion is he's corrupt.
We're not going to call our staff corrupt here.
That's fine. That's my
Okay.
personal opinion. As Rob said, his behavior yesterday was absolutely unacceptable. I want to read a couple things for you. The first one is from the ACLU. All I did here was search for right to anonymity on Google. Very simple. ACLU article says the right to remain anonymous is a fundamental component of our right to free speech, and it applies every bit as much in the digital world as it does in the physical one. In the words of the U.S. Supreme Court in McIntyre v. Ohio Elections Commission, quote, anonymity is a shield from the tyranny of the majority. Additionally, the Electronic Frontier Foundation, who's been fighting for online freedom of speech for decades, in an article said, quote, in times of turmoil, authorities might scapegoat anonymous speakers, blaming them for societal challenges. But anonymous speech is often how the public finds out the depth and severity of those challenges, be it an abuse of political power or the severity of a global pandemic. Without anonymous speech, some lies powerful people tell would go unchecked. And then lastly, I've got to address the comments about Samuel cursing. Okay. I'm not going to do it, but cursing is constitutionally protected speech in any governmental agency toward police. The Supreme Court has ruled on it multiple times. As long as it's not quote unquote fighting words, as long as you're not trying to start a fight or egg someone into a fight, it is constitutionally protected speech. You can ask your lawyer, he will tell you. You can ask Chief McCullough, he will tell you. If I'm in front of Chief McCullough on the street or one of his officers and I'm unhappy with their performance, I can yell every curse word I want in their face as long as I'm not violent toward them. Okay. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Kaylee, I think that was the last, is that the last public comment? Yes. All right. All right. Thank you. All right. Moving on to the next item, we have resolution 3321, extending workman's compensation coverage to the City of North Bend volunteers. We went over this in the work session last night. And I believe this was another housekeeping item, correct?
Actually, I think it's Madam Mayor, it's 3322.
Oh, 3322 is the new
Correct.
resolution. That's not what it says on our sheet.
I know it doesn't say that. but
He's got the real one.
I got the marked up. Or
Page 65 is the information in your packet. And there is a staff recommendation to adopt the resolution extending workman's compensation coverage to the City of North Bend volunteers to fiscal year 2022, 2023. Is there a recommended or is there a motion from the council?
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 3322.
Okay, here first from Councilor Garbodin,
I'll second.
second from Councilor Richardson. Is there any discussion? All in favor of adoption of the resolution 3322, extending workman's compensation coverage for the City of North Bend volunteers, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next on the item is number 5. It's the paving bids for 14th and Pacific. We heard a lovely presentation last night from our Public Works Director. On page 69 is your suggested motion. And that is, the suggested motion is for the staff to recommend award of contract, award of the contract not to exceed 49,500 to Knife River Materials. Is there a motion from the council?
I'll make a motion that we approve the contract not to exceed $49,500 for Knife River Materials for 14th Street and Pacific Lane paving.
Second.
Okay, heard a first from Counselor Richardson and a second from Counselor Garboden. Is there any discussion on this? All right, all in favor of awarding the contract not to exceed 49,500 to Knife River Materials for 14th Street and Pacific Lane paving, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. So paving bids, that takes us to number 6 was the authorization of the purchase pipe. And this was, again, a discussion in work session last night. We've got page 72. And we've got, what was the staff recommendation on this?
Automatically approval.
Approval. That was page 72. Is there a
It's
motion?
on 74.
It was on 74 is the. Oh, I see it. The staff recommendation is the purchase and replacement with standard HDPE. Do you guys see that? HDPE.
I'll make a motion that we consider the staff recommendation to purchase the replacement with standard HDPE at a cost of $28,415.88 as it allows for some realignment of the pipe for better flow characteristics. Staff expects to commit.
You're a little early there. That was,
Contractor. Before the authorization to purchase, thus may change the recommendation estimate. It's changed sufficiently enough. Purchase pipe now allows for installation prior to significant rains.
okay.
Second.
I heard it first from Counselor Richardson. I think Counselor Gall got a little early in there on the second, so we'll go with Counselor Garboden. Yeah. But we do have a first and we do have a second. Was there any discussion on this one? Thank you again for the presentation on this last evening. Any more questions? All right, all in favor of the purchase replacement with standard HDPE at the cost of $28,415.88 as it follows for some realignment of the pipe for better flow characteristics, where the staff expects a comment back from the underground ability contractor before the authorization to purchase thus may change this recommendation if the estimate is changed significantly enough. Purchase the pipe now allows for installation prior to the significant.
Just what Bill said.
What Bill said.
Interrupted.
So all in favor of that?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, and that was number 6. Number 7 on the agenda was any action from any executive sessions. We did not have any executive sessions to take action on. And number 8 is our city administrator's report. So we'll go ahead and that on over here to the city administrator.
Thanks, Madam Mayor and Council. Just a notification, I'll be on vacation July 14th through 17th. Before attending the OCCMA training conference in Redmond, the 19th to the 22nd. Fire Chief Jim Brown will be in charge in my absence. So this is formal notification, plus you were sent a copy of this as required by the city charter. Want to also highlight that the Main Street Board met today. It was the first board meeting with the Main Street manager, Stephanie Wilson, and they selected their officers. So we were all excited about that. And if you mind, since it's the city administrator's report, you want to say anything about the baggies?
Oh, yes, I gave you gifts. We've been working, all the department has been working with David on some merchandise for North Bend.
Coming from the camera.
Very, very
It's
fun.
up there.
Oh, you got to come back a little further.
Oh, I got my head.
Back over here. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
That works.
Okay, so we all came together on these and you all got baggies with your
Thank
t-shirts in there.
you.
So, and if you want to exchange color or size, I will be at the visitor center.
Okay, thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Also, glad to say that, I think every single department in some form or fashion now has touched the North Bend Municipal Pool. And so repairs continue. The boiler did arrive. It is sitting down. It's smaller than the previous boiler. There's a lot of extra room in there. The Public Works crews coordinated efforts between them because they're sharing staff, but they're finishing up, putting in the pipe. I think some concrete will be done tomorrow around the manhole. And so the boiler that was pulled out, that one was from 1984, I believe to be the second boiler. We're still waiting for the 1956 filtration system. It is in transit. That is one of the big delays, but we're still forging ahead with that. It's a 3-phase project. So we continue. Also want to say congratulations to Catherine Cardoza. She's in the library. She's been promoted to the public service librarian. And so she'll, so young and new adults position. So we're excited about that, and sort of did some realignment after we lost our assistant librarian, and it gave Haley an opportunity to sort of look at her staff and change some things. And then happy to say we got a second tranche of grant monies from the state. So the city of North Bend now has $400,000 to spend in July, August, and September on K through 12 grant activities for the youth. And so you obviously see the bowling program going. I know the mayor, went on, I think, radio and went before the Rotary and started saying some of the things, which is great. It's all good and dandy. But we're actually going to wait to make some of the formal announcements because staff is still working on some of the details. And we're coordinating with our local businesses, the school system, and a lot of our strategic partners to pull this off. So there's a lot of great things that are going to happen for the youth, and we have to get it all done by the end of September. So that's my city administrator's report.
Great, thank you. All right, well, we'll go ahead and move into council comments. Councilor Slater, we'll begin with you.
I get to be first.
You get to be first.
Well, one thing I was thinking, your 1956 filter piece, you didn't have to get permission from SHPO to remove that because of its historic significance. Anyhow, I've just got one brief comment. We're coming into the election season, and these are all elected volunteer positions. You got 3 council seats and the mayor's seat open, and I would challenge any citizen in North Bend. You really want to be part of things, make a difference for your future. Work with a great set of staff and people around, and run for office. You can celebrate those changes you were part of. You can take it on the chin for some things that went the wrong way. You sometimes take it on the chin for things that weren't your fault. But it's a great way. You get feedback at Safeway or the bowling alley or wherever. I believe it's the closest form of government to really interact with the people. So that's available for you right now. Come on down, sign up, and be part of the team. That's it.
Okay, Councilor Gall.
We left one thing out, Tim. You get a little action on your chin even when things go good.
That's true.
Anyway, I don't have much. I want to say kudos to the police and fire. I know Brownie and them had a rescue out there at Cape Arago. I know exactly what our police staff has been doing 60% of their time chasing this homeless camping ordinance thing, and let's hope we can somehow get through that. It is very, very stressful, and to have that guy say that you can just sit there and get cussed at and stuff. I've seen it firsthand to these guys in the last week, and it's not a pretty sight. Back when I was a little more physical, I'd probably be taking care of some of it myself. Anyway, that's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Garbo, nothing for you tonight. So we'll go to Councilor Richardson.
Yeah, again, like I say, I appreciate everybody's input, whether we agree with it or not. Public comment is the greatest thing that we have. Whether it's positive or negative, it gets the word out to the public on what people are thinking. Whether we, like I said, whether we approve of it or not. Again, thank you, Chief, and Chief, for all the stuff you're doing right now. We all are trying to work through the issues that we have here, not only in the city of North Bend, but in the nation, because it's a nationwide problem. And we're gonna get into a better place. It's just gonna take some time. We've got things, going. We're working on things. And, I do encourage people also to, if you really want to be part of this community, to sign up, even if it's just for, a budget committee or the library committee or something, just throw your hat in the ring so you can really understand how public money is, number one, spent, and number two, what it takes to get from here to there, because it's a lot deeper process when it comes to working with government monies. It just doesn't happen like it does in regular business. And that's something that I've learned over the years, is that you can't conquer something in one day. Or my dad said, you can't eat an elephant in one bite. It takes one bite at a time, and it takes many, many years to get anywhere, to get anything accomplished. And I think that's probably why, some of us counselors have been on the council for so long, because we know that it's just going to take a long time to get someplace. And, like I say, it's a great opportunity to be involved in your community. It's a great thing to do. But please, if you're going to run for council, don't go in with an agenda, because you're going to be deeply disappointed, because you will not succeed in changing anything overnight. And that's what I have.
That's it. All right. Thank you. Well, I try to remember about, every month or every 6 weeks or so to make sure that I say thank you to you. And thank you to the council, because you all are volunteering, as somebody said, and you don't get paid for this. So I do appreciate the work that everybody's getting in, and I hope that 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 you are thanked, at least from me, whatever that means. And I appreciate the public comment period as well. It is so great to have. Thank you all for being here tonight, because it's been a while. We haven't had people in the council chamber. So it's nice that we're starting to see people come back and participate. And then we also have the ability for people to watch this online. And I do hope that if people are still watching this far in the meeting, that they're really listening to these comments, because this is our business meeting. There's an agenda, there's an order of what goes on the business meeting and what we go through. And it's public comment period isn't a time for us to engage. We can do that through other ways, but not during that piece. So it always feels a little awkward. And I think I even said that last meeting 2 weeks ago, when you're up here talking about very sensitive things that are impacting your life, and we just stare back at you, because that's just not part of how we do public comment. But as I always say at the top of that, our city recorder and our city administrator are there to reach out and to follow up with any action that is needed. And, even our police chief, who he did last 2 weeks ago, made sure that he immediately followed up with a person who had concerns. So it is an order of business. It's a business meeting, and that's what it is. I will work with our city administrator and our lawyer to double check what our council rules are. But I am pretty sure that we do get to say that we want professional decorum here in the council chambers, and that we do not allow disparaging comments against staff or cursing. But I will make sure that I get that clarified too. So I like to always have exactly what the rules are, and we get to have those. So again, thank you to the volunteers. Our council president, Richardson, and I, and our city administrator, we met with the Confederated Tribe, also the acronym known as the Klutzi Tribe, and it's one of our top strategic goals is to build tribal relations. It was a great meeting, and we met with the new, the CEO. I had not met her before. She started in late April and wasn't able to make our last meeting, and also met their new chair. Very productive meeting, and they're just going to be great community partners. And so we're very happy about that. So I'm glad that I was able to report out about that. I want to also say, I almost put it on my head here, make sure that I wish Larry Garboden a happy birthday. He's got a birthday this week. And also we got a lot of July birthdays. Kaylee, you just came off it just a couple weeks ago. It was your birthday too, to our city recorder. And as long as I'm shouting out celebrations, I am celebrating my 20-year wedding anniversary in July. So I'm going to miss the next council meeting. So I'm going to tap you to be in charge. Okay. So I can celebrate my 20-year wedding anniversary for that. And so again, hopefully people are watching this far in the meeting. If they're grabbing sound bites and share this, yes, $400,000+ out for community grants for the kids. So you're going to hear more about that. And the official announcements will come out with where that money is going. We've already announced that the bowling program is one of them, but you're going to see some more things. So it's going to be great for the kids this summer. And gosh, am I forgetting anything?
You have forgot one thing.
One thing.
Next week is
Oh.
mine and Ralph's 45th class reunion.
Oh,
Are we getting old? Yes, we're getting old.
45th class reunion.
At the bowling.
I can't wait. Yeah. Yeah.
Quite a collection of walkers there.
Oh, ow.
45. So
Got
that's,
a couple beers, I get more physical.
yeah. So let's see. So what year did you help me do the math on that? Was that
77.
77? That's right. I was in kindergarten then. Yeah. I just like to point that out. Yeah.
Thanks for throwing that out.
Actually, I will say one more thing. So the League of Women Voters is hosting the meeting tomorrow night here in the city chambers. And it is true, all that you were saying, like if you want to get involved in city politics, even if you aren't interested in running, but do want to understand those council rules and how that works, the city charter and the form of government, I think it'll be really good for people to go. And again, those who are watching online, share that. There's going to be a link and they can share that out. So it'll be really informative for people to see how that works. And
6 p.m.
it's 6 p.m. should barely be over an hour. Like I think they put 6 to 7:30 just to make sure that they had enough time. There's going to be a panel discussion. There's a former mayor that's going to be on there, a couple current city councilors who are not running for the next positions. It's a panel of 6 people. The city administrator from Coos Bay will also be there to talk about the different forms of government. So that's, I really hope if share that information out because I think it'll be really good.
And it'll be streamed.
And it'll be streamed as well.
Snacks.
And snacks. So, all right, that is it for my official council comments. We have one item of other business tonight.
Yes,
That
yes.
was from Mr. Dunham, the Public Works Director, and I believe didn't our council president take some notes on what that was?
We have the LOC membership dues.
Paying the LOC
So-
membership dues.
Yeah, I don't think it's Ralph.
Oh, wait, it wasn't Ross. It was.
It's the league's membership dues. I'm looking like, I don't have anything Ralph.
So to the city administrator, you were looking for a motion to approve the payment of the League of Oregon Cities dues in the amount of,
$8,440.12.
and 12 cents.
Yes.
$12.
And yes, and there is one other thing, but I'll procedurally see if you want to move forward with it. So let's do this one first.
We'll do this one first. Okay, so what is the will of the council on this motion?
Well, I would move that we approve the payment of our LOC dues amounting to $8,440.12 for the upcoming, I guess, fiscal year.
Second.
I had a first from Counselor Slater, a second from Counselor Gall. Is there any discussion? All in favor of paying the League of Oregon Cities dues of $8,440.12, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So there's another procedural
All right.
item.
So Madam Mayor, we'll unmute the city attorney and ask him about this. So this council entered into the intergovernmental agreement for the $1 million grant from the state. Coos Bay and Coos County has also done that. In there, you also then were advised that we would have a executive committee from each of those. So all three governments have now executed and they're ready to move forward with the executive committee. However, this city needs to appoint two members to that committee. And so because it's nothing monetary attached, this is grant money and it's administrative, I'll leave it to the city attorney based on our previous discussions. It just simply didn't get listed on the agenda. Otherwise, we will sort of hold up the governance of getting moving because we have timetables that are in that agreement.
Okay.
So.
Mr. Wolf, did you want to chime in on this then?
Yeah, I'm going through the council rules here. I believe that's going to be fine to do that tonight. But give me a moment.
And I heard Mr. Miller and say this is not, there's no monetary attachments to this.
Yeah, and if this is a non-controversial thing with timing of the essence, then your rules do allow for this to be placed on the agenda and action taken.
Okay. All right. All right. So is there a motion from the council?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that City Administrator Milliron and Mayor Engelke be representative of this.
Okay. And this is of the homeless,
Correct.
we're calling it a task force.
Yeah,
Task force.
it's House Bill 4123,
Yeah.
but it's the
Work-
House Bill 43.
House
Yeah.
Bill 4123 worker.
I can tell you very quickly. Give me just a second. This is the coordinated homeless response system.
Coordinated
So we
homeless.
did the IGA, so this will be appointment of North Bend's executive representatives to the coordinated homeless response system,
It's a mouthful.
blah, 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 or say task force.
I'll second Bill's
Yeah.
motion to
Okay.
put Jessica and David on the team.
Okay. I heard a first from Counselor Richardson and a second from Counselor Gall. Was there any discussion? So all in favor of appointing the,
If I will.
yes,
Since we added this and to the benefit of the public and everyone. All right, so House Bill 4123 selected 8 pilots statewide in order and then funded them with $1 million, $500,000 this year, $500,000 next year. We then were one of those 8 pilots. And so our pilot, the Southern Coast pilot here is North Bend, Coos Bay, Coos County. We all entered into an intergovernmental agreement. Each of the governments have signed it, executed. So now we're starting to follow the timetable where we actually then have to hire someone or designate someone and start on the strategic planning effort. We have a specific timetable to come up with a strategic plan. Each of those governments will select 2 members to an executive group, and then we will use the existing homeless task force that meets monthly, that's well represented. We meet at Coos Bay. And so the executive team basically is taking recommendations from the group and then making the executive decisions, making sure that we hire and then stay on task force. So you have specific duties in order to move forward. So I just wanted to lay out that, there's transparency, there's no cost attached. It's just extra work for the 2 folks that you're putting on. So thank you.
Happy to.
so I just get what you're saying is I get a bump in pay.
You get an opportunity to go to Coos Bay more often. Yes.
Well, I like Coos Bay. Good people. Okay, so that was our discussion. All right, so we have a first, we have a second, we have discussion. All in favor of appointing the mayor and the city administrator to the House Bill 4123 to coordinate homelessness response task force, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, council.
That was our last item of other business, correct?
Yes.
Okay, now we do have the urban renewal. Kaylee, did you want me to officially adjourn this meeting? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and adjourn tonight's city council meeting and we'll move into urban renewal. No problem.
Okay.
Don't leave us. City Administrator, we got Mark Wolf online. I've got the Urban Renewal Agency in front of me. We're good? Okay. Good evening and welcome to the North Bend Urban Renewal Agency meeting for Tuesday, July 12th at 7:50 here in the council chambers. We're going to call the meeting to order, and first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from June 14th. Is there a motion from the council?
Yeah, I move we approve the July 14th urban renewal minutes.
I have a first from Councilor Slater and a second from Councilor Garboden. Any discussion on those minutes? All in favor of the approval of the minutes from June 14th, 2022, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 3 on the agenda is the annual CIS renewal. This was page 4 of our packet. A little bit of a housekeeping business here. We had some information also in our work session last night. Is there a motion from the council on item number 3?
I'll make the motion to approve payment to CIS in the amount of $5,176.59 for property / liability insurance for fiscal year 2023.
Okay, heard a first from Councilor Richardson and a second from Councilor Slater. Is there any discussion? All in favor of approving the motion as stated, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 4 is our executive director's report for the Urban Renewal Agency. Mr. Milliron, did you have an executive director's report?
I do. First and foremost, wow, what a beautiful view the Liberty Theater has from its rooftop.
I have not seen it, I don't think.
Because I've never been on the roof. However, if you follow the North Bend Main Street page, you'll see that they have posted some photos as they're replacing some of the 98-year-old beams, and they'll be doing the new roof. And we're waiting on some details. We're coordinating some efforts, but we will have those big domes being installed, we believe, the 25th, which I think is a Monday. And so that's what we're working. So you'll all get the announcement of that. So that's exciting. They're about to put the big blade sign out to bid. So things are progressing there. They've gotten all through the engineering and all of that. Also, KCBY came out and did a little segment on one of our urban renewal projects, which will be the future Devereaux Center property. I was down inspecting some of that work today. The facade grant that you all approved is really looking fabulous. They still have work inside to do, but the facade itself next to the Liberty Pub, which I didn't realize they have like washing machines in there. Or is that downtown? So
Tiny's has the wash
You
laundry.
can see how much time I spend in the pubs. I'm sorry. Larry, we need to go on a tour. So anyway, all good. And then the big brouhaha, of course, will be the Wildflower Public House. Tara Moore's one of the board members on the Main Street program at 1989 Sherman. And they did the facade improvement and then the interior. And you will see the awning, all the final touches going on to that project. They're going to do a soft opening on July 16th. I hate the fact that I'm going to be out of town, but I understand the mayor is going. And since I'm not going, she's taking her daughter. And so that's her +1. So anyway, but that's an exciting project. I got to go in and take a look at it. There was also all the mason jars that were collected as part of a project that they donated, and the chandelier inside is just absolutely stunning. And they hate it because I go in, the first thing I do is start taking photos. And so I've learned not to let them know. I just go in and start taking photos, and then they're like, John's like, no photos. He hates to be photographed. But all in all, good stuff down there. And then also we're working with Stephanie, of course, who splits over with the tourism, TLT, and Main Street and URA. So as part of that K through 12 $400,000 grant, we're looking at some of the arts. And when I say arts, culinary arts, fashion shows, things of that. So some of the businesses, I will tell you, are coordinating. Again, plans will come out where they basically will have a cooking camp, and then we'll be feeding their parents. So they'll actually learn some culinary skills. So a lot of cool things are happening. And then in August, the ice skating rink's coming. So just lots of things happening. So other than that, that's the URA report from downtown.
Great, thank you. Very exciting. Do we have any public comment this evening? We do not. And so if we do not have any public comment and nothing further for the agenda, we'll go ahead and adjourn this evening's meeting. Thank you. Perfect. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, I was gonna
Good
say
night.
that.
I'm not going to say, I was going to ask the